Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu me. Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu me. Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu me. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath. Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath. Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathang Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitangscha Trinadapi Sunichena Toror Iva Sahishnuna Manina Amanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Hare Nama Hare Nama Hare Nama Eva Kivalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatir Anyata Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasa Adigo Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Welcome everyone to the Western headquarters of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness here in Los Angeles. As was mentioned by our temple president, this is the 47th Rath Yatra. The first one here in Los Angeles was 1977. The first one in America was in San Francisco in 1967. So it was our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who has blessed America with Rath Yatra. And now it is celebrated all over the world. So many countries and continents, and it will expand. Yes, why not? Why won't we? I know it's going to seem impossible, but how about Rath Yatra in Saudi Arabia? That would be an accomplishment. I can dream, can't I? After all, the power of Lord Chaitanya is achintya, inconceivable. So we learn in ISKCON, we learn about Rath Yatra from the life and teachings of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in Prabhupada's Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I advise all of you to get the complete set of Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you don't have it, Sylvas will make the arrangement for you very, very easy. Every year at this time, I get what we say in New York, absorbed. I become totally immersed in this Chaitanya Jagannath Leela. So I have selected some nice passages today, of course, from Prabhupada's books, because that's all I am allowed to speak, not someone else. I have to Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Korea Aikya. Arna Koriho Mani Ash. Every morning we sing those two lines. And Prabhupada once chastised us. And he said, you're singing these two lines every day, but you don't know the meaning. Because we were starting to deviate. So like the Acharya, or like a good father, get them back into line. So Prabhupada emphasized Guru Mukha Pada, the words of the spiritual master. Arna Koriho Mane Ash. I don't want anything. I just want to hear and meditate and execute. Execute the order of the spiritual master. Otherwise, Prabhupada would have never come here if it wasn't for the order. The first instruction, go to the West and speak in English this science of Krishna, science of God. And as I've said many times, the most important day in American history, the day Prabhupada landed in America. 1965. I always like to make a note here. I was 15 years old in 1965. And that summer, because Prabhupada arrived in September, and that summer there were 3 big songs on the radio. I can't get no satisfaction. But Prabhupada brought the satisfaction finally. Another big song, help, I need somebody, help, not just anybody, help, you know I need someone. That was Prabhupada. John Lennon was singing help, and a few years later he would meet Prabhupada and host Prabhupada. And the devotees worked for Mr. Lennon. He let the devotees stay in his home for some time. So he got the help. And then also, right around the time Prabhupada arrived in September, the big hit, I feel, was describing Prabhupada. How does it feel to be on your own with no direction home, like a complete unknown, like a rolling stone. That described Prabhupada. He arrived with 40 rupees, was it? Wow. Completely depending on Krishna. And look at the result. Here we are. One big happy family. It's always been said that ISKCON is the real United Nations. Look around you. We have Americanos. We have Indians. We have Latinos. We have, I can't use the word Oriental, but we have Pacific Rim Asian people. We have African Americans. And we're all getting along, are we not? Yes. Because what was Krishna's first teaching to Arjuna? Give this boy the applause. Very nice. So when you're off the bodily platform of life, you don't make such distinction. And as you become more advanced in this science of Krishna consciousness, you begin to see everyone, like my favorite example, I gave this the other day. There was a devotee, he passed away some years ago, Urjaswat Das, from I think Texas, big strong African-American devotee, good friend of mine, saved me once. Oh, he saved my life once. But he had a very unique way of preaching. I loved it. This is how he would preach. Prabhu, I want you to step outside your body. I want to talk to you. That was how I'm trying to imitate his accent. He was so dear to me. I want to talk to you. I want you to step outside your body. Like I said, he really saved me one day. So, in Krishna consciousness, little by little by little, you begin to see people as part and parcel of Krishna. That's how we should see. Just like I don't address you by the clothes you wear, or I don't call you, hello, Mr. Mercedes-Benz. No, because these are externals. But we learn from Bhagavad Gita, everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. That makes us one big family. Group hug. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, the way Prabhupada teaches us about the meaning of Ratha Yatra, he takes us back 5,000 years ago. Let's go. We're in Kurukshetra. Now later in Kurukshetra there would be a war, the battle of but this is before that time. And there was an occasion of a solar eclipse. And so the residents of Dwaraka, where Krishna was residing, decided to go to this holy place, Kurukshetra, in order to observe rituals in observance of the solar eclipse. And also at the same time, the residents of Vrindavan, who Krishna left when he was just 11 years old, but all this time he never returned because he only married 16,108 wives, that's all. And he got entangled, he couldn't return. And his parents also wouldn't let him go because they know, oh, if we let Krishna visit Vrindavan, he won't come back. So they said, Balaram, you can go. which Balaram did for 2 months. But Krishna, So they met, the residents of Vrindavan, the residents of Dwaraka, and it was a heartfelt moment after seeing each other for so many years. By this time, Krishna had grandchildren, so many years had passed. So Krishna was reunited with his foster parents, Nanda and Yashoda, and the other residents of Vrindavan. But at a certain point, Krishna stole himself away and he met with the gopis privately. And Krishna tried to give them solace. And there was some discussion that Krishna would take the gopis and Radharani back with him to Dwaraka. But Radha and the gopis said, no, not this Krishna, because Krishna now was dressed like a prince, Dwarakanath, royal. Radha said, this is not the Krishna I know. Where is that Krishna playing the flute? Where is that Krishna with the simple yellow dhoti on the bank of the Yamuna in the moonlight with the breezes? Where is that Krishna? No. So Prabhupada explains that the followers of Lord Chaitanya, they have this mood when they observe Rath Yatra. Let us bring Krishna back to Vrindavan. So in Jagannath Puri, that is how Lord Chaitanya would observe Rath Yatra. Lord Chaitanya was in the mood of Srimati Radharani with the same Tapta Kanchana Gorangi, golden features, bodily features. The same mood of Radharani, especially this mood, which is known as Vipralambha Seva, feeling separation. Indeed, it is said by Prabhupada himself that this feeling of intense separation is even a higher state of ecstasy than actual union with Krishna. Now this seems inconceivable, but that's how we are to understand. So Rath Yatra means Jagannath is leaving the Jagannath temple, or in our Los Angeles Leela, he's leaving the temple here, New Dwarka. The Jagannath temple represents either Dwaraka or Kurukshetra, either way. And the parade, pulling of the carts, is gradually bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan. So for us, that's Venice Beach, a temporary Vrindavan. So we're going to pull the carts and we're bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan. So there are several chapters in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that depict how Lord Chaitanya would observe Rath Yatra from a spiritually emotional perspective. So let me just recite one verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, and then I'll tie it in with my presentation. Are we good so far? Everybody happy? Show me by saying, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. That deserves 3 bells. No, 4. Excellent. Excellent. Tava katamritang tapta jivanang kavibir iditang kalmashapaham Sravana Mangalam Srimad Atatang Bhuvi Grinanti Ye Burida Jana. I'll explain in a bit. So, during the time of Lord Chaitanya, Jagannath is in the state of Orisha, certain area of India. And his name was Prataparudra. And although he was king, he was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya. And he asked many of Lord Chaitanya's chief disciples, please arrange a meeting, an audience with Mahaprabhu, please. But every time the devotees would say something, Lord Chaitanya would say, no, it will ruin my reputation if everybody sees me giving audience to the king. They will not respect me as a strict sannyasi. So time after time, he refused the audience. But Lord Chaitanya's devotees, they figure out ways to even work around the Lord. So at that time in India, the greatest Vedanta scholar was someone named Sarvabhauma Bhatta Acharya. And he was the leader of that Jagannath temple, just like Subhasa Dasa is the leader of this temple. So Sarvabhauma was the main pundit. And he knew that this king Prataparudra was a great devotee. So he gave him advice. Just like I mentioned my friend Urjaswat. He also gave me very good advice on more than one occasion. So Sarvabhauma told the king, all right, on the Ratha Yatra day, there will be a certain time where if you follow my instructions, you will get the full mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So he followed. So this Prataparudra, on the day of Ratha Yatra, he came at the beginning of the parade, and as a king, he brought a broom. But this broom was the royal broom with a golden handle, and he swept the road for Jagannath. And that act was the turning point. Just like in movies or in good books, there's always a turning point where the plot is going this way, but then the real crucial. So that was the real, and Lord Chaitanya saw, the king has humbled himself to sweep the road for Jagannath. I will bestow my mercy. So Prataparudra on that day got 3 installments of mercy. The first installment is that there are 3 carts, just like this temple has 3 carts. Not all temples have 3 carts, but we're the Western headquarters. We better have 3 carts. Otherwise, we lose our prestigious status. So there were kirtan parties surrounding each of the 3 carts. So there were altogether 7 different kirtan groups. Just like when we had kirtan, there was kirtan group there. So there were 7. Each group had 2 mridangas, and I can't remember how many kartals, 6 or 8 per. Anyway, so Lord Chaitanya, at some point in the parade, Lord Chaitanya did a miracle by appearing simultaneously in each kirtan party. And each kirtan party was thinking, oh, Lord Chaitanya dances in our party and not the others. But actually, he was present in all 7. Now, nobody could see that except those who were very, very advanced. But King Prataparudra got the vision. All because he humbly swept the road. Installment number 1. Later, as the procession proceeded, Lord Chaitanya was exhibiting ecstatic symptoms of spiritual ecstasy. There are 8 kinds of ecstasies, bodily transformations, and Lord Chaitanya was exhibiting all of them. So at some point, Lord Chaitanya fainted on the ground. But his bodyguards, his assistants, they got distracted and they didn't notice it. And who did Lord Chaitanya fall down in front of? No, King Prataparudra, right in front of him. And since nobody was around or noticed that Lord Chaitanya fell, Maharaj Prataparudra picked up Lord Chaitanya. Second, and Lord Chaitanya was in what is called half external, half internal consciousness, was sort of indicating to the king, okay, I'm letting you get away with it this time. Because immediately he said, oh, I've been touched by the king. Oh, I'm contaminated. But he also indicated that I'm blessing you. And the king was so happy. Then comes the 3rd installment. Sarvabhauma had told the king, there's a certain part of the festival, and Lord Chaitanya and all the chanters, they will be exhausted from ecstasy. Yes, you can get exhausted from ecstasy. Usually we think of exhaustion when we work 13-hour days. Sometimes that happens. But there's a different kind of transcendental exhaustion from ecstasy. So the king had told, Sarvabhauma had told the king, at that moment, Lord Chaitanya will be in a garden. At that time, all the devotees will be making offerings for the deities, bringing whatever they cooked and placing it on the cart. The place is called Balagandi. So at that time, Lord Chaitanya will rest. So following the king's instructions, Sarvabhauma, Prataparudra offered his obeisances to all the devotees, which I would like to do now. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya evacha patitanang pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So he'd offered his obeisances to all the devotees, but now he wasn't dressed as the king. He was dressed like a simple devotee, just like we see our brahmacharis. They don't dress in fancy kurtas. No, simple clothing. So the king entered the garden with very, very simple clothing. And Lord Chaitanya was resting half internal, half external. And the king came and started to give him massage. Started to massage his body. And Sarvabhauma had told the king, you recite these verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam. See what happens. So in the Bhagavatam, there are 5 chapters which deal with the Rasa Leela of Krishna. And among those 5 chapters, there's one chapter which is considered the crown jewel, Shiromani, of the entire Bhagavatam. That's the 31st chapter. The prayers of the gopis in separation from Krishna. Yes, again, separation. So he started to chant those verses. There's only 19, very short. And he came to the shloka I sang. Tava katamritang tapdijivanang kavibir iditang kalmashapahang sravana mangalam srimad atatang bhuvi grinanti ye burida janaha. So this is what the gopis, as I said, there are 19. This is one, which is considered probably the most significant. My dear Lord Krishna, the nectar of your words and the descriptions of your activities are the life and soul of those who are always aggrieved in this material world. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely aggrieved in this material world, especially when I watch the evening news. Oh, God. Whew. These narrations are transmitted by exalted personalities. So yes, anyone, even Krishna mentions this in the end of Gita, that anyone who speaks my Gita, there is no servant more dear to me than he. And here we have Srila Prabhupada, dedicated his life, his old age, just to exhibit this verse. Give us these Vedic scriptures, Gita and Bhagavatam. And then it says, they eradicate all sinful reactions. So by hearing these classes, by reading our scriptures, your sinful reactions are being cleansed. Whoever hears these narrations attains all good fortune. Here you are. You're hearing this narration. All good fortune is yours. I applaud you. Some have left, but you remain. You get more blessings. These narrations are broadcast all over the world, and they are filled with spiritual power. Those who spread the message of Godhead are certainly the most munificent welfare workers. Burida Jana. So when this verse was recited by the king, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arose and he embraced the king. And he said, you are the most munificent. You are the most beneficial. You are the most magnanimous because you have allowed me to drink this nectar of Krishna's pastimes. And Lord Chaitanya, he knew what was going on. He knew it was the king, but he didn't let on so say. And then Lord Chaitanya displayed and showed the king some special opulences and told the king, you don't speak of this to anyone. And then Lord Chaitanya then again reclined. King Prataparudra finished and again offered obeisances to all the devotees, and his desire was fulfilled. For not only did he get an audience, but he got embraced by Lord Chaitanya. Who would not want to be embraced by Lord Chaitanya? May that come true for you at some point. May you all be embraced by Lord Chaitanya. And if you're embraced by Lord Chaitanya, automatically that means you will be embraced by Govinda, Govinda, black and beautiful Govinda. Everybody say, Govinda. One more time. Govinda. Now a little louder. Govinda. Yes. So, there are now, I just gave you a quick gist. And if you read those chapters in the Chaitanya, and we start tomorrow, Archita? Yes. So tomorrow, every morning, there will be recitations and speaking on these chapters about Lord Chaitanya Ratha Yatra. So I was asked that to encourage you, to enthuse you, to enliven you, to not only attend Ratha Yatra, but I have advised over the years, and I said to some good friends of mine, that this time, Ratha Yatra, is when this temple shines the best. This temple really comes alive during this Ratha Yatra period. There's a transcendental buzz. It started last Sunday after Snana Yatra, but now little by little it will increase. It will increase. And like King Prataparudra, the key is the willingness to do any service for Jagannath. Any kind, and Prabhupada once emphasized that, because sometimes there is this feeling that, oh, those who go on the altar, they're advanced. And those who work in the kitchen or sweep the floor, no. Prabhupada said no. In fact, there's a letter where Prabhupada wrote one of his disciples, the devotee on the altar and the devotee who sweeps the temple floor, equal. So in this society, we don't make distinctions between high and low. We see each other as servants, and in this case, servants of Jagannath. So if you get an opportunity to render any service connected to Ratha Yatra, go for it. And you will be blessed beyond imagination. So, I'd like to sing a little bit, and then we'll dismiss class. How does that sound? Did I do my job? Did you get enlivened? Did you get enthused? Did I encourage you? Good. Let's chant and be happy. That's Prabhupada's order. Chant and be happy. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 Rakshaman. Krishna, 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 Pahiman. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshaman. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahiman. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If anybody's interested, you can take one of my, I don't want to use the word business cards, devotee cards, in case you want to get in touch with me. And I also have free some CDs of lectures I have given over the years. Take as many as you like. And before I dismiss the class, let's say the Prashad prayer. Sharira avijja, Jodendriya tahika, Jiva fele vishaya shagare, Tarmad jiva ati, Loba moe sadurmati, Take jeta katina sangsare, Krishna baradaya mai, Kari Baba Jiva Jai, Shwaprasad and Dilobai, Saying Amrit Kao, Radha Krishna Gunagao, Preme Dako Sri Chaitanya Nitai, Jagannatha Swami Ki. Thank you very much. Class is dismissed, and Prabhupada's instruction is, take prasadam to your full satisfaction, up to your neck. Jai. Jai Maharaj.